for a lesson. You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond! Plus!
Strength. Now, depending on who you are, you probably have a particular idea of what you think strength is, but I think most people have the same general ideas. Physical strength, being able to overcome physical obstacles and overwhelm opponents. There's also mental strength, usually a byproduct of being physically strong. Yeah, the person is strong in mind due to the assurance that comes with being physically strong. Well, what happens when we combine these two concepts to present a singular idea? Well, we get absolute strength. Are you Satoru Gojo because you're strong, or are you strong because you're Satoru Gojo? Question of identity asked by Gojo's best friend, Geto. This question perfectly encapsulates the dilemma that comes with those who achieve pinnacle strength. Can one's own power blur the lines between responsibility, individual agency, and identity? One of my favorite encapsulations of this comes from the series Baki, where it describes this state as having strength so great he even steals your dreams. In this case, focusing on Yujiro Hanma. It in essence suggests that such overwhelming strength can take away from the joy of competition and growth, things that are integral to the human experience. Going back to Gojo, from the moment of his birth, he lived a checkered life, his very existence not just representing the birth of a child, but a dent in the street walls of history, a tilt in the balance of the world. Newton's third law states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Well, that makes sense, but Gojo was simply just born. Yes, being a specimen and worthy of awe, but never being given the chance to be anything else. Dehumanized by his own greatness and turned into less of an actual person, but more of a myth, a figurehead, legend, a cataclysmic event. Series such as MHA and One Punch Man, and even Star Wars somewhat, delve further into this idea with a varying depiction of the strongest. In My Hero Academia, we have Toshiniro Yagi, or as some of you might know, better known as All Might, who, after receiving One for All, becomes the strongest hero of all time, and by default, the number one ranked hero. Interestingly enough, he is described as the symbol of peace, as his great power symbolized the spirit of heroism and valor. However, as time passed, the line of identity becomes more blurred and gray, and Toshiniro Yagi begins to fade, while All Might, the persona, the symbol, persists. As a byproduct of his strength, more dangerous variations of evil started to appear. But even in his declining health, he had to keep up the trademark smile, the bright colors, and the exaggerated remarks, because that's the expectation of him, created as a result of his strength. The stories of One Punch Man and Star Wars flip it and look at things from a more dire and sinister angle. In One Punch Man, we follow the story of a good-hearted salaryman who in one way or another removes his limiter and has access to what is essentially unlimited strength. But what we also see is his decline as a person, the seeming loss of life and excitement from his eyes, as he's consumed by the reality of his strength. Similarly, in Star Wars, we have the story of to usher in the place of vulnerability. Very well mined, known psychology site, in summary, describes vulnerability as a state of emotional exposure that entails opening oneself up to others and accepting the emotional risk that comes with that, and being willing to love and be loved. Possibly my favorite portrayal of the strongest is Whitebeard from One Piece. He holds this title for so long and is considered the closest to the One Piece, the man who went toe to toe with the Pirate King, can tilt islands with no effort, the myth, the legend. But on closer look, he's really just a man in search of a family that he can love and protect. He doesn't define himself by his title as the world's strongest man, or by the reputation that he has or what is expected of him, but he defines himself by the love of his sons and how he can do right by them. In that, is he able to maintain his great strength, even in declining health, old age, and multiple injuries. In Whitebeard's genuine love for his family, he is able to find the strength to remain at the top, while his vulnerability creates a chemistry with his men that make them the strongest collective. Another story that tackles such themes is Mob Psycho 100, where the main character, a nigh omnipotent Esper, is able to grow as a person, not just as an Esper, by opening himself up to others, insecurities and all. We see a few other examples, such as with Saitama, finally growing as a person due to forming genuine connections, Anakin finally bringing balance to the Force by letting go of the hate and weight of responsibility he felt, and letting his love for his son empower him. In all this, we see a common underlying message. It is okay to let ourselves feel. It is okay to allow ourselves to laugh, to cry, to admit to our weakness. For many of us as individuals, in our pursuit to become as strong, as rich, or as powerful as possible, we lose ourselves and forget that no matter how strong or powerful we are, we need others. We need to allow ourselves to share our pain and our struggles. We can't always be strong, and that's okay, because the concept of absolute strength rests in a singular vessel, but true enduring strength comes when someone is able to connect with others. I'll end the video by saying, the idea of being as powerful, as strong as possible is cool, but that's just what it is, an idea. But to achieve true greatness, we need to allow ourselves to live, to learn from others, connect with them, allow our strength to bend to kindness, because that is what it means to truly be human.